gang. Second half of tonight's Snarl in Arlington, Texas. Wally Cardill, Johnny Bianco, and Tex Lynch all ready for two more tag tournament matches. We've got Liberty Bell Danielle facing Zelina Vega, and HBK and Ric Flair in the main event. A solid hour of excellent mat action. So hang out for a while longer.
The tournament matches are hot. Wild Fortune will defend their berth against Tony Dangerous and the Hurricane, and the Insiders will fight the United Kingdoms to hang onto theirs.
We might see an upset in that first one. Wild Fortune's great, but Tony Dangerous and the Hurricane always have the potential to pull an upset. However, I know how you feel about Sylvia Strong and the Stronghold. I don't see the Insiders losing to the United Kingdoms, especially on the bad luck streak they've been having lately. Yes, sir, it is going to be a terrific second half. Hang out, reload up on the snacks, and let's get into it. And let's get into that tag team tournament right away. Next matchup, Chris Wilde and Jeff Fortune, determined to hang on to their spot against the lightning fast one Tony Dangerous and his tag team partner, the Hurricane.
Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen. This next tag team tournament match, set for one fall with a 20-minute time limit. Introducing first at a combined weight of 142 pounds, from Philadelphia, Pennsylvania, Chris Wilde, and from Loch Lomond, Virginia, Jeff Fortune, the team of Wild Fortune.
Well, Chris and Jeff did succeed in taking out the Canadian cartel to make it this far. And yeah, they do have a size and weight advantage over Tony Dangerous and the Hurricane, but the fact remains, those two are fast and they could pull off an upset win here tonight, which would knock Wild Fortune out of their berth and put Tony Dangerous and the Hurricane in it for round one of the tournament.
Their opponents at a combined weight of 435 pounds, from parts unknown, the Hurricane, and from Statinopolis, the lightning-fast Tony Dangerous.
Hurricane Helm's behind the wheel of the Dangermobile, the Smogmobile, or whatever it is we're calling that thing these days. Now, Tony and the Hurricane would love to pick up this spot, but they're gonna have to move Wild Fortune out of it first. But Chris and Jeff don't exactly look like they're in a rush to move.
I think the experience edge tweaks just slightly toward Wild Fortune. Just the same, they'll have to overcome the speed and high flying of their opponents.
And those two boys are definitely fast. Oh man, this should be a really good one. I'm kind of pulling for Wild Fortune to hold on to their spot, but I like Tony Dangerous and the Hurricane too. Well, it's going to be interesting. Wild Fortune's never tussled with the lightning fast one before. It'll be Jeff Fortune starting off against the Hurricane here, though. And this should be a great tournament matchup. Referee Charles Lazaro rings the bell. They come center ring. They lock it up. Jeff Fortune with the upper hand right away. Hurricane up against the ropes. And hung up on the top rope, a little bit of chokey from Jeff Fortune. A hard right, a kick to the midsection. Jeff with a clubbing overhand right to the Hurricane, gets him down to one knee, slams him head first into the canvas, goes for the cover and hooks the leg. Oh man. Jeff Fortune starting out real aggressive here. The Hurricane whipped into the corner, catches the shoulder splash, and oh man, Jeff is lit up. Wild Fortune not doing too badly for themselves lately. Former tag team champions a couple of times over, looking to get back there again. Jeff with a neck breaker on the Hurricane. Hurricane laid out. Jeff Fortune on the top turnbuckle, dives, delivers the elbow drop again. The Hurricane rounded up. Whipped into Wild Fortune's corner. Counters and finds his way out. Gets a hold on Jeff Fortune. Takes him to the other corner. Smashes his head into the turnbuckle. Tags him with a couple of good right hands. Four of them. Takes him down into a seated position in the corner. The lightning fast one comes in. Tony Dangerous with a drop kick that doesn't do the job. A rebound off the ropes, a crossbody taking Fortune down to the canvas. Turns his attention to Chris Wilde, tags him with a right, and Tony Dangerous is just as fired up as these guys are. Kick to the midsection. Tony Winds up in the armbar. Jeff takes him, walkies to the corner. Off the top rope, Japanese arm drag from the lightning fast one. Tony Dangerous rounds up Jeff Fortune. Hard whip into their corner and a swing and a miss. Kick to the midsection, a right and a drop kick from Jeff takes Tony down. Tony Dangerous with a basement DDT to the face from Jeff Fortune. Jeff backs on out to his corner, turns it over to Chris Wilde. Catches a Hurricane Rana almost immediately. Double boot stomp from the lightning fast one. Tony Dangerous catches a shot to the midsection from Chris Wilde. Chris locks him up, whips Tony to the ropes, makes the duck under, and a power slam, center ring. Chris Wilde, of course, a Memphis Million winner, I think the third one. We called him the Memphis Miracle that year. Came in early and stayed late. Wound up being the last man standing in that Memphis Million. Chris Wilde tagging Tony Dangerous with a set of hard right hands to the head. Beats it out of town, turns it over to Jeff Fortune. Tony Dangerous rolls to the outside. Jeff immediately goes after the Hurricane, takes him out of the equation. While Fortune presently in control of things, and both Tony Dangerous and the Hurricane. Jeff Fortune with a stomp to the leg of Tony Dangerous, a stomp to the back. Fortune with a kick to the leg. The lightning fast one. Laid out on the canvas and in trouble. Fortune misses with the splash. Tony Dangerous sliding out of the way just in time. Tony whipped into the corner again by Fortune. Hard shoulders into the midsection to the lightning fast one. Here comes Chris Wilde again on the tag. Chris goes after Tony, but Tony counters, finds his way out of the corner, locks it up with Chris Wilde, takes him down to the canvas. Well, awkward double boot stomp. An attempt at an elbow that doesn't find the mark. Chris Wilde rounds him up into a front ladder, slams him into the buckle and pitches him out towards center, goes for the pin, covers and hooks the leg here. 1, 2, just a one. Charles Lucero is definitely on things. There's a knee to the side of the head from Chris Wilde. Chris flips Tony over, delivers a stomp to the leg. Turns him back over again. Flips him back over again. Drives an elbow into the leg of Tony Dangerous. Follows that up with a stomp, but is quickly countered by the lightning fast one as if there was any other way. And, oh, beautiful rebound crossbody with a pin center ring. 1. Chris Wilde has not had enough starch taken out of him yet. There's a Hurricane Rana from Tony Dangerous. Chris Wilde slams his head into the turnbuckle, tags him with a right hand. Chris with a kick to the calf of the lightning fast one. Chris locks him up again, tags him with a measured right. Down he goes. And here comes Jeff Fortune again. Wild Fortune looking just as good as they did in their previous matchup in this tournament. Jeff follows it up with another measured right hand, leaving it right off where Chris did, as if he bookmarked it. Okay, here's a tag to the Hurricane. Jeff Fortune changes his mind on the high-risk maneuver, winds up catching a Hurricane Rana from the Hurricane. Hurricane Helm spins him around with a hard right, goes behind on him. A Cobra clutch thingy and a Russian leg sweep in tandem. Jeff Fortune quickly back up on his feet though. The Hurricane gathers him up over the shoulder, takes a walk with him to the corner and drops his head into the turnbuckle. Hurricane Helms beating the head of Jeff Fortune against the canvas. Turns his attention back to his corner. The lightning fast Tony Dangerous comes in, taking a moment to rally the folks here in Arlington. And Chris Wilde comes in on the tag. Clothesline from Tony Dangerous takes Chris Wilde down to the canvas. Chris catches a Hurricane Rana again from Tony Dangerous. A clubbing overhand right to the back. Chris whip to the opposing team's corner. Tony Dangerous pitches him out towards center. Off the middle ropes. Beautiful moonsault. Nicely done. Here's a pin. 1. And just 1. I guess Chris Wild's got more steam in him than I anticipated. A head scissors and a couple of wraps on the noggin from Tony Dangerous to Chris Wild. Chris. Locked up by Tony. There's a kick to the midsection. A rebound off the ropes. Whoa! That was a nasty neck breaker right there. From the lightning fast one. A driving knee into the head of Chris Wild. Looks like the momentum might be shifting here. Here's another Hurricane Rana from Tony Dangerous. Chris Wild goes to the outside. The Hurricane gets a pat on the back for a tag. Chris Wild on the outside being counted by Charles Lucero. Comes back in. The Hurricane locks him up. Takes him up over the shoulders into the corner one more time into the turnbuckle. Down he goes. The Hurricane drives a knee into the arm of Chris Wild. Chris might want to think about tagging out at this point. Whoa! Well, that was a nasty neck breaker too. The Hurricane turns it back over to Tony Dangerous. Chris Wild back up on his feet. He don't look pleased. Tony Dangerous quickly countered by Chris Wild. And a sleeper hold. Well, look at this. Things may be turning around for Wild Fortune here. A jawjacker from Tony Dangerous. A rebound off the ropes and a crossbody. Here's another pin attempt. One. But no. Chris Wild. Very tough. At least in this matchup. Definitely has been. Another head scissor. Another set of shots to the head. Double boot stomp. Don't find the mark. Chris Wild pitches Tony to his team's corner. Moves in slow. Countered by Tony Dangerous. Tony Dangerous. Whoa, that was a pretty nice DDT from the lightning fast one. Jeff Fortune is brought in on the tag. Tony Dangerous, too busy showboating to see it. Gets caught from behind. Catches a shot to the back from Jeff. Jeff goes behind on him again. Tony Dangerous counters with elbows to the midsection. A kick to the gut to Jeff Fortune. Tony Dangerous. Looks like he's setting it up. Boom, there it is. Oh, man, he just bent Jeff Fortune over like a bow. Oh, what a slam. Tony Dangerous on the top rope. Here's, oh, beautiful frog splash. Here's a pin. 1, 2. I really would have thought that would have been about it, but I guess not. Jeff Fortune still in the game here as the Hurricane is brought in on the tag. Pretty good match we've had here so far, but still no sign of a pin or a tap out. Jeff Fortune locks it up with the Hurricane. Backbreaker. Immediately goes for the cover and hooks the leg. 1. Well, nope, didn't work out quite that way, no. Jeff Fortune with another hard right to the Hurricane. There's another stomp to the midsection. Hurricane Helms laid out center ring. Jeff Fortune going to work on him. Beats it out of town, turns it over to Chris Wild. The Hurricane stands center ring, catches the crossbody from Chris. Follows that up with a stomp. Chris Wild drops an elbow across the chest of the Hurricane. Returns to his corner and turns it back over to Jeff Fortune. Wild Fortune showing off that teamwork makes the dream work. The Hurricane catches another neckbreaker from Jeff. Jeff rounds him up again. Hurricane Helms gathered up for a sidewalk slam by Jeff Fortune. And now Jeff trying to rally the troops here on his side. Here comes Tony Dangerous again. He charges. Woohoo! Hard drop kick. Forcing Jeff towards the corner. Tony rounds him up again. Rebound off the ropes and check this out. Whoa! Wheelbarrow Bulldog. That was cute. Tony covers, hooks the leg. Could have it here. 1, 2. Jeff Fortune reaching out for that bottom rope. Referee says, Tony, sorry, you got to start all over again. Jeff Fortune rolls out of the ring on him. Tony Dangerous, oh man, he went through there like Gumby and he just crashed face first into the floor. That was nasty. Chris Wild gonna compound the problem with a vertical suplex to Tony Dangerous. Jeff Fortune up on the top turnbuckle on the other side of the ring waiting for Hurricane Helms to stand up and takes him down. Wild Fortune working two different sides of the street but having the same result. Tony and the Hurricane in big trouble now. Jeff Fortune starts going to work on the lightning fast one. Chris Wild rallying him. Drives a knee into the back of Tony Dangerous. Jeff Fortune rounds up Tony, hurls him towards the barricades, makes his own way back inside, allowing Charles Lacerda to continue the count on Tony Dangerous. Chris Wilde is brought in on the tag. Goes after the Hurricane, catches a knee. He's going to go after him again, too. Another hard right. Another one. Tony Dangerous back in the ring now. A set of kicks to Chris Wilde. And a hard right drops him to the canvas. Tony Dangerous off the top rope, turnbuckle. Oh, man, beautiful moonsault. Chris Wilde suddenly finding himself back in trouble again. Tony Dangerous gonna go air one more time. Big time elbow drop right across the chest of Chris Wilde. Here's another pin. 1, 2. What is it gonna take? Tony Dangerous got to be wondering that right now. Chris Wilde with a kick to the midsection of Tony Dangerous, gets locked up again. Chris escorted to the ropes by the lightning fast one. Turns it over to Hurricane Helms, leaving Chris Wilde parked right where he can get at him. Okay. A chop across the chest. A little tug of war with the leg of Chris Wilde from the Hurricane. Hurricane counter. Catches the throat chop right. Chris Wilde with a gut wrench suplex to the Hurricane. Takes a little walk for himself back to his corner. Turns it over to Jeff Fortune. Hurricane laid out center ring. And we've had one more momentum shift here, this time towards Wild Fortune. Jeff flips the Hurricane to the corner. Whips him back into the corner again. Rebounds out, up over the shoulders of Jeff Fortune. And oh, man, snap face first into the canvas. Man, here's a pin attempt. 1. Tony Dangerous right there to break that pin up. That would have been a close one, too. Hard kick to the back from Jeff Fortune to the Hurricane. Followed up with a stomp to the face and a stomp to the back of the head. A whole lot of stomping going on in Jeff Fortune's world right now. The Hurricane rolls out to the floor. Chris Wilde is tagged in. The referee is counting the Hurricane. Chris Wilde makes his way towards Tony Dangerous. You knew this wasn't going to end peaceful. Hung up on the top rope. Both members of the superhero team are laid out. Chris Wilde showboating for the fans. Gets a hold of the Hurricane. Has a hold of the trunks. Has him up. Slams him face first into the mat. Whoa. Inverted suplex. Here's a pin and a hook of the leg. 1, 2, 3. That is going to do it. Wild Fortune still in the game here.
Here's the time. 14 minutes and 31 seconds. And your winners, Wild Fortune.
Chris Wilde and Jeff Fortune definitely showing that they came today to the job site to work. Tony Dangerous and the Hurricane damn sure gave them a solid run for their money, but by the final bell, it's Wild Fortune picking up the win and retaining their spot in the tournament. First round, one of the final 8. And what a match it was. Here you see it in the replay. Chris Wilde putting the lights out on the Hurricane with this inverted suplex. What a match. Coming up next, the Insiders versus the United Kingdoms, our next tournament match when we come back.